Welcome to Inside Boxing's Throwdown. I'm Aurelio Martinez, Steven Johnson, and I'll tell you in this episode we're going to talk about this past fights this weekend. We had some pretty good ones. We're going to talk about Malik Scott and see how he did in his heavyweight fight against Thompson, and we're also going to talk about Charlo. And I'm telling you, this guy, he's exciting. We're going to talk about them two fights. But Steve, bring us into this week's because we actually had some good little undercard action too. So
let's start off with the undercard. First of all, that fight down there in Orlando, Florida, where Malik Scott and Tony Thompson, were the main event. But also, fights of interest. That super lightweight, Sergey Lipinets. Okay, he was a former MMA star, good Russian boxer. But now this cat, man, he's tearing it up in the super lightweight division. He took on Haskell Rhodes, who was undefeated, and now. Lipinets is at 8-0, and Rhodes dropped to 23-1-1. So this is a big win for him. We'll keep our eye on him.
A lot of patience. He had a lot of patience.
Another one, super welterweight Sammy Figueroa. Okay, he gave Tay Starks his first loss in a tough, hard fought fight. But now Figueroa is undefeated at 10-0, and Starks his first loss 13-1. Those two guys we want to keep our eye on.
And you're right. We want to keep our eye because Figueroa, he actually showed a lot of desire, a lot of old school desire. I'm going to fight to win. So good.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. And then if we move to the Saturday night fight in Houston, Texas, which is the Premier Boxing Champions card, there we had on the undercard we had middleweight Tony Harrison. He got the 10-round unanimous decision over Cecil McCullough. Okay. Harrison's now 22-1 and McCullough 20-3. And then the other one, the super lightweight competition, Bahidar Mamajanov. Okay? He got the unanimous decision over DeMarcus Chop Chop Corley. No, real quick, DeMarcus, this is his third loss in a row. I think it's time for him to probably hang it up.
Well, DeMarcus has been he's pretty much been done for a while. I mean, he's aging, but he's still an opponent that can come in and make his opponent, the guy opposite of the ring, look good. And he's still a good name, even though real boxers know that he comes as an opponent now because time passes. Boxing is that way where time passes. So it's something good to have on your resume, but on the other hand, it's also that the real boxing fans know that he's way past his prime.
And real quickly, he's got a nice little clothing line and gear.
You bet.
I think DeMarcus will be okay, but it's probably time for him to hang it up. But as you and I know, if somebody calls, they're going to give him some money, he'll go take it.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, now let's go back to Friday night down there in Orlando, Florida at the venue at UCF, Bounce TV, where you had the main event. That was Warrior Boxing with your boy, Leon Margulis.
Yep.
Yeah, had heavyweights Malik Scott and Tony Thompson, where Malik got the unanimous decision win, but that ninth round knockdown was a little bit of a shocker.
Yeah, it was a shocker.
There was no.
I'll
let you talk about that fight.
Well, I'll tell you what, I kind of do like what I saw in Malik, especially as a heavyweight, because he showed a lot of movement, a lot of angles, a lot of movement, and that's something you don't see in the heavyweights. And Malik brought it. He brought some movement. He brought some, you got to be in shape to have that style, to box 10, 12 rounds with a lot of movement.
Yeah, big guys.
You got to understand that style, and I think Malik understands it because he didn't go there in this fight with the intention, well, I'm going to knock him out, because he never once set his feet and started to throw the power blows that it takes to knock out a person. So he was content with showing his boxing skills, and actually I was kind of glad. It was kind of nice to see someone in the heavyweight do that, 'cause we haven't seen it since like your Jimmy Youngs and these guys that they used to move around in the ring a lot. So it was kind of a good taste. I don't know how well that style is going to work when he gets in there with the big boys.
Like Parker, like your boy Parker.
The Klitschko's, or even if he has a rematch with the champ. Deontay. Yeah, I mean, so I don't know how it'll work with that. He'll eventually have to set and gain respect, because just when you're a mover, you lack power. That's just the nature of the beast. Okay, you're not set. You're not putting the leverage behind your punches. So the fighters tend to walk through that. Okay, so you're basically going on a points thing where I'm gonna win this guy on points and actually work with Thompson, because Thompson really looks slow in comparison to a mover, and he looks slow. But like you say, in the ninth, he showed a little bit about what can happen when you get caught with somebody that's set.
And you lose some focus.
Yeah.
And before I move on, I just want to say this. I'm not impressed by the win because of, when Tony said afterwards, basically I'm old and I'm just about done. I'd expect him to announce retirement sometime soon. Yeah. But let's move on to the main event on Saturday night. We're in Houston, Texas at the Premier Boxing Champions, NBC, where we had light middleweight Jermell Charlo.
I'll tell you what.
He stopped Joachim Alcine in the 6th round of a scheduled 10-round fight. I know you've been amped up about this. I tried to tell you, these Charlo brothers are the real deal in the light middleweight division. But just before Aurelio talks, a little side note. Just recently, Jermell broke away from Ronnie Shields and his brother down there in Houston. Jermell now has his own gym, in Dallas. It's going to be interesting to see how it all finds out, because he's now trained by Derek James. Before the fight, he had been saying how Derek James had been talking about working on his power. You were excited about the power you saw for him, so go ahead and take it.
Let me tell you something, okay? And I like Ronnie Shields, okay? Ronnie Shields, to me, is a very, very good amateur boxing coach. Okay, but the game changes when you get into the pro. The pro is about respect, and if you can't leverage your punches and gain the respect, it's going to be a long career, long career. You have to get that respect, and you have to deliver the punch that gives you that respect in the ring. And I'll tell you what, I like the Charlo brothers, but I'll tell you what I seen yesterday, man. What I seen Jermell, man. This guy, his jab was on target. It was stiff. It was solid. It was crisp. It was fast, and it had the power. It was snapping Alcine's head back. And I'll tell you, real early in the fight, you can see it in Alcine's face that he was in trouble. Not so much in trouble, but don't forget, Alcine is a former champion.
Right.
He wasn't no opponent. He wasn't no hand-picked pigeon. Okay, and I'm gonna tell you what. I really like, and I don't want to say improvement, because Charlo he's an all-around good boxer, but now he's found where he can stay set, and when he wants to set and deliver power, he can do that, and then he can also use his skills that he also had all along to do a little boxing when he has to box. So I mean, look out for this man, and I'm gonna tell you what. People get excited about all these other guys like Thermo and all these other guys. This man's focused. The Charlo brothers are focused. They want one thing. They want to show the world that they're the real deal, and they're going to take over this division. And I'll tell you what, I'm just getting excited, man. This guy, he just showed me something. And you know what? I've been in the game an awful long time. So
well, there was a little bit of controversy because after the fight, and like we talked about, it was in a respectful way. But Jermell called out Floyd Mayweather, and not in a, like I said, not a disrespectful way. He just said, "Hey, I'm here at 154. You have the WBC belt. If you don't want to, fight me, then you need to. If you don't want to fight me, then you need to give up the belt." Well, and I think that had some valid points.
Well, it wasn't a call out like I want the lottery ticket.
Exactly.
Okay, it wasn't a call out like I want. It wasn't. Let me rephrase that. Let me stop. It wasn't a call out like saying, pick me, pick me, pick me. Right. I want the money.
He said, I'm the number one. I'm the number one contender there.
In other words, in my words, and I don't know the exact quote, but basically what he said was, Floyd, give up the belts or fight me.
There you go.
One or the other. In other words,
that's exactly right.
Yeah, in other words, I don't care what you do. But this is my division, okay? Yeah. Either give up the belts or fight me. That's all. It wasn't no call out. It wasn't like, there's a difference. Like the Amir Khans and the Thermals and all that, they're begging.
They're begging. Thermal.
But that's what I'm saying. They're begging. They're begging. They're begging for the big money, okay?
Let me say this. I'm not going to put it all on Floyd. This is some of the WBC's bullshit, Lel. They need to tell him. They should have told him a long time ago. You're going to fight or we're going to strip you.
Well, eventually, according to their bylaws, they should. If you don't defend in a certain amount of time, then you're stripped basically. Yeah. But WBC, they're going to do what the money is. So if Floyd says, "Well, I need another." If Floyd says, "I'm only used to fighting once a year, so I need a year," the WBC say, "Okay, you got a year." So, but like I say, and it's too bad because the WBO, the IBF, the WBA, they're not stepping up to the plate. So, the green belt is where it's at. And that's just the way it is.
Yeah. So, all right. We're going to end up this episode. We'll come back with our next episode. We're going to talk about the upsets in Memphis, Tennessee this weekend in the Women's USA Boxing Olympic trials. And then we'll touch a little bit more on Olympic action going on. And then just a couple of brief things going on in the amateur section that are a little bit exciting for us. Then we'll talk about, some other things.
Oh, you better believe it. Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. So come back and see us. But until then, always, keep them hands up, baby.
Keep them up, baby.